And today I have with us Elisa Lion from Exceptional Events by Elisa. Welcome, Elisa.
Hi, Angeline. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the honor and the privilege of hosting us today.
Yes, it's great having you here. Well, tell us, how did you get started in the industry?
So for as long as I can remember, I've been planning my own birthday, family gatherings, and holidays. And in that same fashion, I gravitated towards the planning of team activities and team functions in other job roles. This is before we even had event planning as a job title or a job description or even a college degree. It was just natural for me. I did my first event planning professional role, and by this I mean that event planning and event coordinator were part of the job title and part of the job description at World Vision, a worldwide humanitarian nonprofit organization. For 10 years.
Oh, amazing.
Thank you. For 10 years, I planned, designed, and executed logistics for their events. These were events that were multi-day conferences, symposium, and lobby days on Capitol Hill for up to 1,000 participants.
That's really impressive.
Thank you. I started individually, order and organization, a small part-time business in 2007, and we focused on providing event planning and professional organizing services. Among some of my clients for professional organizing, I had a Washington Post journalist, an NYU professor, a couple of book authors, a poet, and a couple of State Department attorneys. In essence, it was people that had a lot of paperwork, did a lot of traveling, and had homes in different states. Then we saw that we really loved the part of event planning more than the professional organizing. So we rebranded in 2016 with Exceptional Events by Elisa, with a main focus on weddings and social events. And it has been a thrill of a lifetime. We love to work with couples that want to work with us, and we're always up to the challenge of creating and offering different and unique designs.
Okay, so what kind of services do you all offer, actually?
So we offer event planning services, event designing, and coordinating services.
And how do you all?
Can I say that again? Can I say that again? Can you ask it again? Sorry.
Yeah, so what sort of services do you all offer to brides and couples?
We offer event planning, event designing, and event coordinating services.
Okay, great. And how do you all continue your growth in the industry?
I'm very passionate about weddings, and I aspire to be among the best in my field and in my industry without ever stepping on someone else. To do this, I enroll and participate in certification programs, in workshops. I watch tutorials, I read books and articles, and do hands-on training through internships.
Nice. That's impressive that you continue to grow and to learn what the trends are that are going on.
Thank you. I try to bring the best experience with knowledge and expertise to our couples. After all, they're trusting us to one of the most important days in their lives. I discovered that I'm hands-on and I learn better that way. So among some of the internships that I've done with local wedding professionals are with Sammy's Rentals, a rental company in Manassas, Virginia, with Corinne's Florist, an event designer floral shop in Vienna, Virginia, and with Endless Creations, another floral designer shop in Culpeper, Virginia. Through these hands-on internships, I've been able to familiarize myself with inventory, with tools, with protocols, with costs, and with some amazing setup and tear down techniques. This knowledge is fundamental to the services that I provide my clients.
Yes, I think that is very important. Well, what type of weddings have you actually planned?
So we've done an array of small, intimate weddings to large weddings, which include but are not limited to theme weddings, lavish weddings, ethnic weddings, religious weddings, LGBTQ weddings, and barn and rustic weddings, especially now that we moved and live out in the countryside. And also some of my favorite are cozy backyard weddings.
Yeah, so it sounds like you definitely cover everybody imaginable if they want whatever type of wedding they have on their mind and they have dreamed about. How many weddings do you work on at the same time?
So for our
Day of?
couples and for our clients, they will have our full attention on their day of. The team assigned to each wedding will focus on bringing that couple's vision to life from start to finish. Their wedding, their guests, and their dream will be our one and only priority for that day.
Nice. That's very important, I think, to people to know that they have your full undivided attention on the biggest day of their lives. Well, what was the most unique wedding you've ever planned?
So
I'd love to hear about that.
I think that every wedding is unique in its own way. After all, it's the love story of two people who have chosen to come and be there for each other. But among the most interesting and unique ones that we have had the honor and privilege of planning and designing is a Cinderella theme wedding that we did at the Willard Intercontinental Hotel in DC. An international, yes, an international wedding at the Ritz-Carlton in DC, and that one was all crystal mirrors, an array of greenery everywhere, and romantic ambience and atmosphere with a lot of candle lights. We also did a Chinese American wedding where the bride transitioned into 4 different outfits. There were 4 different elements to her wedding, and for each one or each mini component within her wedding, she had a different outfit. So that was very fun. A lot of logistical details to plan and a very tight timeline to accomplish that. And lastly, the editorial shoot we did at Lorraine Caverns for your magazine.
Yes, and I can tell you that was fabulous, and our viewers are going to get a sneak preview of that styled shoot at the end of our channel today. What is your secret for staying calm under so much pressure of these weddings that you're talking about, these elaborate events?
It is to have a clear delineation of what we can control and what we cannot control. This allows us to manage pressure, and we plan, we prepare, and we design backup plans for our original backup plans that minimize the level of uncertainty or unknown as much as possible.
You know, Elisa, I think that's one thing that is so important for our viewers to understand is having a professional event planner managing all aspects of your event, your wedding, the day of, takes all of the stress and pressure off of the couple to just enjoy and experience this amazing day because they have someone like you and your staff that they know is going to have every detail taken care of, even if something unforeseen should arise. That's the importance of having a professional wedding planner, because they have that, like you said, the backup to the backup plan. How many people are on your staff?
Oh, sorry. And I will tell you that even though we have backup plans for the backup plans of the backup plans, we always learn something new at every wedding. no matter how much we try to plan ahead, there's always something new. But being able to possibly prepare for that scenario gives us the advantage to immediately tackle it as soon as it happens.
Oh, I agree. There's nothing, again, like, a professional like yourself and your team, even if it's something you haven't planned for, you're able to think on your feet and take care of that right away. Where if, the couple depends on maybe just a family member to try to coordinate the day of the wedding, they're not going to have probably the experience and the knowledge to prepare for something that's unforeseen. And that's kind of when the disasters happen. So that is why it's so important to have a professional taking care of every detail the day of that wedding. Well, how many people are on your staff? How many would be at the wedding? Kind of take us through what happens on the day of.
So the size and the level of skills and expertise of the team assigned to each wedding depends on identified logistical needs, the complexity of each design being set up or torn down, and the guest count. We want to ensure that the couple is taken care of as well as their guests. We have a team that consists of planners, designers, we have decorators, stylists, coordinators, and teams that are in charge of the setup and tear down of each event. We plan ahead as much as we can and are meticulous with our planning to ensure that we never leave details to the last minute.
I understand. That's so important. Well, kind of walk us through, I know that wedding planners normally, another big part is that you coordinate all of this with the vendors involved, the other type of vendors, like the photographers, the wedding cake bakers, the florists that are coming in that are not necessarily on your team. But how are you involved with those other vendors the couple has booked in the planning process? What do you actually do with those other vendors to ensure everybody's on the same schedule, so to speak?
So for event planning or full planning, we encourage our clients to work with our preferred wedding pros. And these are professionals that have been in the industry for over 5 years, that work with us between 5 to 10 years, that are established, they are professional, they're insured, they know what they're doing, and that they're capable of having backup plans. We also ensure that any of the wedding professionals working, whether they're our preferred partners or not, they understand that this is team couple. There is no team DJ or team photographer or team videographer. At the end of the day, we were selected to celebrate and be present on this special occasion for our couples. And we want to make sure that we work together to bring their vision to life as smoothly as possible. In order to stay on track and be able to execute everything as planned, we create master timelines. These are color-coded, multi-page documents that break the day minute by minute. They're very detailed as to, in the event that I'm not there or my team member's not there, anybody on my team can execute it. They include a list of everything that's being delivered by each wedding professional, to pictures of how they want the welcome table set up, the memorial table set up, or each table setting, where they want their favor set up, how they want their name cards to be staged. Everything is meticulously planned in advance to ensure that even in the event that we got sidetracked because there's an emergency, we are still focused enough and we can follow everything to the dot.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing to think about all those planning and details that I think a lot of people don't understand when they think about, pricing for wedding planner, why is it expensive? Well, there's a lot going on that, you and professionals like yourself are having to coordinate behind the scenes, and months of planning. and details. And I agree. I think it is so, go ahead.
I said, thank you. So once we have all of the information for our master timelines, we have our revised draft finalized around 40 to 45 days prior to the wedding. And we share that with each of our couples and their respective wedding professionals. We ask for their feedback. We ask for their input. Once we've received that from all of the participating parties, we go ahead and do a final revision. And then we finalize this 30 days prior to the wedding during our final walkthrough of the venue with the couple. That way we know what, where, who, when, why, 30 days prior. There's no surprises.
Right. So much planning to execute something like this that I think a lot of people don't realize what it really takes. And I absolutely agree that it is so much, a wedding can go so much smoother if you have a whole team of the collective of other wedding vendors that are involved in a wedding, if you've all worked together in the past, because then everyone's familiar with everybody and it just makes for a seamless event. So what happens if you are sick or otherwise unable to be there the day of the wedding?
We are honored and privileged for our clients to select our services amongst all the possibilities available to them. We understand that the only thing constant in life is change. And with that being said, we understand that accidents, illnesses, family emergencies can and will happen. However, they should not affect our clients' weddings. We carefully prepare backup plans to our original backup plans. And for the past 5 years, we have followed a very detailed continuity plan. Some of the protocols that we follow are, we keep all of our files electronically. This way, our entire team has access to the files in an instant. They're secure, they're private, but they're not kept with one person. In the event that something happened to me, my team can access them immediately. We also have a photo of each couple. Sometimes we do get permission to share the news on our social media platforms, but the main purpose is for our whole team to familiarize themselves with who is who. And this is crucial in the event that one of our team members has to back up for another team member on a given date last minute. We do have monthly meetings where we review any changes to each of our clients' wedding details so that everybody's up to speed with every client and their weddings. We travel separately in separate cars and take different routes so that in the event that one of us is delayed, God forbid, on a car accident or the car breaks down, we have another team member on the way that will start the event and will hold the fort until the rest of the cavalry arrives. Again, things are unknown, so we don't want to do that. And one of the most important ones is that we partner with 2 wedding planners and event planners that we also subcontract. So in the event that I'm not available and my team is not available, we work with Tasha Wells from All For You Events and Design and with Crystal Atkins from Envision Events.
Always planning. Well, what happens if you are not able to make it actually to the wedding? What plans do you have?
Okay, so for example, if I am scheduled to be at your wedding this weekend and God forbid I fall sick or I have a car accident, there's a death in the family, the first plan or line of defense would be one of my business partners or co-owners would step in to cover for me, or one of our senior team members. These are team members that have the same level of skills and expertise that I do that would be able to execute the event. In the event that this business partner or senior team member was not available, our next line or next protocol would be a combination of another team member or team members that can equal the same level of skill and expertise to successfully execute this event. If that is not available, then we would contact our business partners that we subcontract, Tasha and or Crystal, and have them execute the event. And if that is not possible, we're talking that there is major accident on 395 and on 66. Somebody had a death in the family, somebody is ill, and somebody else is on travel. We would subcontract a third-party subcontractor within our network. And they would be required to have the same level of skills and expertise to ensure that the event runs smoothly. So this is our 5-tier protocol system and continuity plan to ensure that our events are covered.
Very impressive. And again, I think that says so much. And it's, again, something that people need to think about if they just decided to have a family member, per se, try to coordinate their event, because God forbid if something were to happen to that person, like you're talking about these different scenarios, then what happens? So it's definitely, again, I think so important for people to realize just how important it is to have somebody that's a professional that has all of this taken care of and even has these backup plans that I don't think anyone even thinks about, until something happens. And then unfortunately it's too late. Well, of course, this last year has been very trying and challenging for all of us in the wedding industry, especially for the couples who have had to unfortunately postpone weddings and cancel them because of COVID. And there's so much uncertainty still going on right now. How are your couples managing the COVID-19 restrictions here in Virginia at the moment?
I have to say that for the majority, our couples have navigated with us these uncharted waters as best as possible. Sadly, it has been an emotional roller coaster for many. I think the main problem or challenge is the uncertainty and the unknown, especially for our spring 2020 couples. We had several couples, one in particular that we had everything planned, everything paid for, and the shutdown happened 2.5 weeks prior to their wedding. And it also affected a couple other of our spring 2020 weddings. These couples, most of them have had to reschedule to the fall of 2020 to the spring of 2021 and now beyond. Out of those couples, one recently canceled their wedding in their entirety. It was very overwhelming for them and very emotional. We have a couple of spring 2021 couples for April and May that are on standby. It's very distraughting and stressful for them because even working with a professional, even working with our team that's detailed and has a backup plan for the original backup plan, we can't plan or move forward if we don't know what we're facing. We can plan around inclement weather. We can plan around a change of venue. We can plan with an increase or decrease guest list. However, we can't head in any direction if we don't know what tomorrow will bring. And the current COVID-19 restrictions are being updated month by month with no guidance as to what is to come. So these brides, these grooms, these couples are planning the final details of their weddings with us blindly, not really knowing how their wedding will go through.
Yes, it's definitely a terrible time for everybody, especially this whole uncertainty of not knowing, when we can move forward. So that's definitely pressing upon everybody. I know in this industry, it's very stressful. Well, of course, Elisa, I'd like everyone to know, also is a writer and a blogger for Virginia Bride magazine. So I'm going to let Elisa tell you a little bit about her blogging opportunity.
I am very honored and I feel privileged. It's a wonderful opportunity to write for Virginia Bride magazine. It allows for exposure for our industry and also the opportunity to share my knowledge, my experience with our readers and our couples. I have been encouraged by some of my business partners and team members to write, to do live feeds, or to organize workshops and to share my knowledge, my expertise with others starting in the industry or planning their own weddings or events. And I've hesitated in the past because I tend to speak very directly. I don't have filters and I'm very straightforward. So I've always been very hesitant about that. Now when the opportunity came forward and it presented itself and I decided to jump on board, I discovered how much I loved writing. I really didn't think I was going to do a great job or that I would enjoy it because again, I also write the way I speak and I think it's very profusely, very direct with no filters, but it's been a very rewarding opportunity. And I was very pleased recently when you share that some of our pieces and some of our blogs have reached a couple thousand, 1,000 views or clicks on in a couple days. So I was very pleasantly surprised and humbled. And I think the success of it has to do that because I'm not a writer by career, I'm writing from the experience of someone in the industry and also through the eyes of our couples. I try to include the perspective and the experience of one of our couples in each of our pieces.
Yeah, we've very much appreciated your contributions to Virginia Bride magazine and our blog. There's some great pieces on the blog written by Elisa, so I do encourage the viewers here to make sure you pop over to vabridemagazine.com and check out the latest editorial pieces there at the top of our home page. And there you will see, you will find Elisa's most recent blog pieces that are up on the website. Well, what kind of trends do you foresee happening this year, Elisa, in the wedding?
So the 2021 wedding season has started in an uncertain way. We were all very hopeful, wedding professionals alike and couples, to jumpstart on a new year and a new opportunity. And with the current restrictions limiting that, brides have had to reconfigure, restructure the way they want to proceed with their weddings. Through the years, weddings have taken place every day, even in time of war. And I think that's a way of our couples moving forward by choosing to reconfigure, reinvent, and restructure their weddings, whether it be that they host an elopement or a mini-moni or a intimate gathering and celebrate later or just leave it at that. They want to celebrate. Marriage is a big milestone that deserves to be celebrated in a grand fashion. And by that, I don't mean to have a big party, but celebrate it in a fun way, in a way that represents the two couple members coming together, that showcases their personality, their likes, their passions. And I've noticed that a lot of the couples that have decided to move forward with reduced guests, and they are spending a little bit more money on a bridal dress, more, sometimes even double their original budget for the dress, that they are increasing the budget for their florals or their decor, or having a wow piece, a wow factor, even if it's with 10 guests. And many of them are actually booking renowned venues and restaurants that normally they would not be within their budget because they had a bigger guest list. And now that they have a reduced guest list, they're able to splurge on them and on themselves.
Right, because of course the catering is greatly reduced, which is one of the big expenses. as well. Well, actually, right now, everybody, we're going to take a look at some of Elisa's work that's showcased now in a couple of video clips, and we hope you enjoy those. And Elisa, I thank you for joining us today. It's been great chatting with you here on the Virginia Bride Chat channel. I hope that we've given some brides and couples some insight into how important professional wedding planning is, and kind of a behind the scenes, what really goes on from start to finish, and how much work and planning really is involved to execute a perfectly wedding day, the dream wedding day that everybody's always dreamed of. And, we're certainly looking forward to soon having everybody back to large scale celebrations as to what people really want and have planned. And we certainly are looking forward to that as well. Great. And you can also find Elisa on Virginia Bride's website as well. She is listed. If you go to our wedding services page, find a vendor, you can click on any of the regions, especially Northern Virginia, Fredericksburg weddings, and look under wedding planners, and there you will find all of her contact information as well as a direct link to her website. Again, Elisa, it has been a pleasure having you with us today, and we're going to end this, everybody, with taking a look at some of Elisa's work. Enjoy.